Hey. Okay, so we're looking at meiosis today. And you want to know that meiosis is the process of making sperm or egg. So go ahead and write that across the top of your paper. Meiosis is making sperm or egg cells. Okay, so we are the majority diploid. Like the majority of our body, the majority of our life is spent being diploid. And what that means is we have 2 chromosomes for every chromosome that we have. And so you can just tell in this picture, it's showing you the majority of us is diploid, the majority of our time. Diploid. But for just a little while, kind of, just sperm and egg, you're haploid. So sperm and egg are haploid, while all the other cells in your body are diploid. So think about shoes. Diploid is like you have 2 pair of tennis shoes, 2 pair of Vans, 2 pair of Converse, 2 pair of Ugg boots, 2 pair of Chacos. Like you have 2 shoes for every pair of shoes you have. So that would be diploid closet. A haploid closet would be if you only had one, like 1 Chaco, 1 Converse, 1 Van, 1 red high heel, 1 black high heel. And so diploid is where you have 2 of every chromosome. Haploid is where you have 1 of every chromosome. Okay, you have all your cells are diploid cells. All are diploid except sperm and egg. Sperm or egg, whichever one you have, are haploid. So skin cells are diploid, nerve cells diploid, fat cells diploid, blood cells diploid. The only ones that are haploid are the sperm and the egg. Okay, so it says on A, somatic, which means body cells. So somatic, you're talking about skin, bone, muscle, all the cells that make up your body, except the sperm and egg cells. They have 46 chromosomes, and out beside 46, I want you to write in 23 pairs. 23 pairs. Okay, a karyotype is a picture of your chromosomes. And you can see the picture right here. So this is a picture of your chromosomes. That's what a karyotype is. Kary means nucleus. So this is chromosome number 1, number 2. And this is a girl, you can see, because it has XX. It doesn't have a Y. And if it had XY, it would be a boy. And you can see how, like, number 6 pairs with number 6, and they're about the same size. And those banding, that's the genes. So can you see, like, the darker stripes on the chromosomes? Those are the genes. Okay, so here they are lined up, homologous chromosomes, same. Like number 1 is lined with number 1. Numbers 1 through 22 are autosomes. Or those are, the autosome chromosomes. These are your sex chromosomes. Okay, heterologous means different chromosomes may be seen in males. So males would have XY, and you can see underneath that it says females have XX, males have XY. Okay, germ cells. Those are going to be gametes, sperm or egg. And I'm writing that on my paper, sperm or egg. Okay, so they're sex cells. They are, we already went over this, they're haploid. Eggs from the female, sperm from the males. You didn't have to be in the 9th grade to figure that one out, right? Okay, fertilization. That's when the sperm and the egg go together. Oh, here's a male karyotype. It shows an X and a Y. There's one sperm cell with a bunch of eggs. No, I'm sorry, I just messed that up. One egg cell with a bunch of sperm on it. So one big egg cell, and then all those white things, like that's a sperm, all those white things you can see are all the sperms. But only one sperm can get in the egg. And that's called fertilization. When the sperm and the egg go together, it makes a diploid cell. Because, see, the sperm have chromosomes and the egg has chromosomes. So when they go together, then the chromosomes can pair up. And together, the sperm and egg are called the zygote. Okay, so today's notes, really, now we're getting to the meat of it, is the process of how to make sperm and egg. So how do you make the sperm and the egg? And it's called meiosis. Remember back before, in the other unit, we went over mitosis. And mitosis, just a quick review, was the division of diploid cells. Skin cells, bone cells, muscle cells, brain cells, all that. Well, now we're on sex cells. So meiosis is how you make sex cells. And it's very similar to mitosis, but you can see right here it has two divisions. So you're going to get haploid cells at the end, not diploid cells. Look and see, this has 2 chromosomes, just for the picture. And these only have 1 each. So you're going to half the number of chromosomes you have. Okay, so meiosis, the process occurs in the sex organ of organisms. These are called your gonads. So in guys, it's in your testes. In girls, it's in your ovaries. The process has 1 DNA replication. So you copy the DNA right here. No, actually, you copy the DNA right before it in interphase. And then it goes prophase, metaphase, anaphase, telophase, prophase, metaphase, anaphase, telophase. But you can see that there's only 1 interphase. So actually, write that down on your paper. PMAT. So interphase only happens once. And then there's 2 divisions. Remember that S phase is in interphase. And that's when, in the S phase, that's when the DNA is copied. Okay, so in the first part of meiosis, the division is separate of chromosome pairs. So you can see here they are in pairs. And they're going to separate the pairs. In the second one, you're going to separate the chromatids. Remember that chromosomes are made up of 2 halves, a chromatid and a chromatid. So in this one, you're separating the chromatids. In meiosis 1, you're separating the homologous pairs. So meiosis 1, separating homologous pairs. Meiosis 2, you're separating the chromatids. Okay. In the process, you're going to make 4 haploid sperm. So look, 1, 2, 3, 4 sperm. For females, you actually only make 1 egg. So you really only make 1, and these 3 kind of dissolve. Okay, so stages of meiosis. These stages are very similar to mitosis. 3 major differences. The most important thing is that you're going to increase variation. So where you see the word increase variation, circle that. Increase variation. Okay, so the 3 different ways to tell the difference are, and there's the making the sperm for boys. And there is making the egg for girls. You can see it's only got 1 egg. Okay, so 3 different ways for variation. That's the picture I was looking for. The first one is the chromosomes cross over. Chromosomes cross over. Okay, watch. Chromosomes, here they are. There's a purple one. And there is a green one. That's it. Okay, so see how they're crossed over? They have their little arms crossed? The purple chromosome and the green chromosome have their little arms crossed. Okay, so what's going to happen is that when they separate, watch this, the green one is going to have just a little bit of a purple hand. And the purple one is going to have a little bit of a green one. So what they've done is they've switched genes. The chromosomes went in, crossed over, and then they switched genes. And you can see it, look right here in this picture. It's the exact same thing. My picture's just better. Tell me the truth. Okay, so the crossover, they swap genetic information. And another thing, they could have switched the other way. Like when they went to separate, like that. When they went to separate, they could have separated the other way. So like this one be on that side. Right, so that's what the second one says, is they pair independently. They separate independently, and then in anaphase 2, they separate again. So they just separate, and then they separate again. And so that makes variation. And variation, I think you already know from yesterday's lecture, variation is important, right? And I said that's why we can't all be brain surgeons. Variation is good. But tomorrow when you come in here, I want you to know about the crossing over. Crossing over, they exchange DNA, the chromosomes cross over, they exchange DNA, and then they separate. And that's what makes every single egg or every single sperm different. When my mom had me, she dropped an egg, and my dad fertilized that egg. And her egg, every one of her eggs in her body is different. And that's why she could have 100 children, and they wouldn't be identical. Because every egg in my mom's body is a little bit different. Same thing with my dad. So that's going to increase variation. Make me and my sister different. Even though we have the same mom and dad, we look different. Okay, so next thing is all talking about the crossing over. This occurs to create variation. We said that. Synapses. Chromosomes are in a state of being intertwined. So when they're actually crossed, like you see here in the picture, they're intertwined. So take a second beside the word synapses, if you haven't already, and draw the chromosomes intertwined so you'll know how to study that. The tetrad, 4 chromosomes twisted together. So it's just showing you, like, let's go back to green and purple. May ask you that tomorrow, what color they were. You can see that there's 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's 4 different chromatids. That's what the tetrad is. And then chiasmata, where the chromosomes physically overlap. So right here. So take a second and label that picture on your paper. So pause the video, label the picture, so you'll know how to study that. Okay, so the major differences in mitosis and meiosis. I'm actually going to draw it for us instead. Okay, mitosis was a diploid cell made 2 diploid cells. And that 2N means diploid. Okay, meiosis is where a diploid cell divides, and then it divides again. It makes 4 haploid cells. And these are actually 2N also. Okay, so the number of divisions, notice that mitosis has 1 division. Meiosis has 2 divisions. Okay, the final product is, mitosis is identical. Meiosis is 4 different cells. C, meiosis has crossing over. And then D, chromosomes pair versus on the meiosis, the chromatids pair. Okay, so evolution. The genetic variation within individuals produced during meiosis, so the variation that's made during meiosis, it says both prophase, crossing over, metaphase, all that, along with random fertilization, so which sperm is going to get into the egg, between individuals emerges as genotypic and phenotypic variety within a population. Natural selection seizes upon the variety. Okay, underneath this, I want you to write 3 ways for variation. 3 ways for variation. And I'll write it too. Okay, so 3 ways for variation. Number one is that crossing over. You want to know what that is. Number two is random fertilization. And that could really mean one of two things. That could mean that your mate is random, like you're a girl and you're going to make a baby with a random boy, but not really random, you're going to choose him. But you may meet him in college, or you may meet him in high school or whatever. And then the third one are the way the chromosomes separate. So the chromosomes separate independently. Independent chromosome, that X means chromosome, separation. Okay, so I hope that was helpful.